Hello, 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 my good people, and welcome back to another episode of the Beyond Your Horizon podcast, where the mission is to help you go beyond the place your eyes can see so you can step boldly into the life that you were meant to live. And I am your host, Jon John. Yep, just Jon John. On Instagram, you can find me actually at Jon John. And today, I'm excited about this episode. So I am catching up with a friend and a familiar voice on the Beyond Your Horizon podcast. Joshua Warren joined us back in 2022 in a powerful episode that is titled Heavy Healing. Go check that out. Joshua Warren is a life coach, a transitions coach. He is the founder of the Dream Incentive, and he's the host of his own podcast called Inversation Podcast. His work is all about helping people move from survival mode to abundance, aligning identity, purpose, and peace of mind. Please help me welcome back to the show my friend Joshua Warren. Now, before we dive into this episode, I want to remind you that if you are really enjoying this podcast, I want you to take a moment to like, share, rate, and subscribe. That is how Beyond Your Horizon is able to grow, and that is how more people can discover these conversations, and that is how we also can keep bringing amazing guests just like Joshua Warren to this podcast. And I do have some amazing guests on the way. People have been emailing me and wanting to be on this show. And I'm so happy that I have a platform that people want to be on. You know, I am grateful for it. So sit back, relax, and let's get into this powerful conversation I had with my boy, my friend, Joshua Warren. Hello, 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 and welcome to another episode of the Beyond Your Horizon podcast. I am excited about the conversation that I am about to have with someone that I actually spoke to back in 2022 on an episode that was titled Healing with Coach Warren back in 2022. And I'm so happy that I get the opportunity to talk to him again and just to see how things have changed, how things have grown, the ups, the downs since then. It's just going to be so amazing to be able to get this catch up. But Joshua Warren is the founder of the Dream Incentive and the host of the Inversation Podcast. He is known as a transitions coach. He empowers individuals to navigate life's turning points with clarity, purpose, and peace of mind through one-on-one coaching, community initiatives like Mental Wealth Matters. Definitely want to talk about that. I like that, mental wealth. That's a new term for me. And engaging conversations on this podcast. Joshua helps people shift from survival mode to abundance, aligning identity, purpose, and financial well-being. His mission is simple, and it is to remind others that dreams aren't just imagined, they're meant to be lived. And I love that. I love that part too. I love that. And we'll touch on that one too, because I do like where you were going there. So Joshua,
Yes,
welcome
sir.
again to Beyond Your Horizon. How are you doing over there?
I am doing great. Thank you so much for having me back.
Hmm.
It's really great to be here.
Thank you. Thank you for coming back. Before we even started, I know we had a little technical difficulties. And I am so grateful and for your patience and understanding. I'm sure you, as a creative yourself, you know that sometimes tech don't always work in our favor. So I thank you
Yes,
for your grace and patience there.
no
So
worries.
I know you've been telling me about your fabulous weekend, but you yourself, I've
Mhm.
been watching you, and I saw that recently you were relaunching your podcast, and and I
Mhm.
was hearing more about the Dream Incentive and things like that. And I just want to catch up with you and figure out like what
Mhm.
has been going on, what is new in your world. So and since from 2022, let's talk about what has happened in your journey in that time. Like, are you still doing the Reiki? Are you still life coaching? What's going
Mm.
on?
So, since we last spoke, yeah, I mean, I haven't really done much of the Reiki, as of late, which I went back and listened to our episode and I was like, why haven't I been doing this? Let me jump back in. So thank you for reigniting my fire, for that. But I have still been coaching. I've done a lot of coaching in, the, with the youth. So working with one of the local uh, detention centers here in Northwest Indiana, just kind of helping to um, redirect the kids in towards a more fulfilling path. Um, a lot of them just didn't have anybody that was in their corner. They don't feel or believe or have that full support from anybody in the community to help show them a different path. And so I've been doing a lot of that. I also so in the last episode, I talked a little bit about me working in healthcare. So I work with senior populations. So I do a dementia support group. I'm just kind of helping individuals navigate that transition, which is very heavy lifting for individuals who are used to being taken care of by their parents and now have to reverse those roles, and navigate that situation. Um, while still maintaining a full life and trying to be a productive adult and raise children and make money and be fruitful. And sometimes that can be very daunting for people, and so I'm helping those folks navigate through that difficult transition as well. Beyond that, as you mentioned, the podcast was a lot of stuff surrounding that.
Mhm.
Because the platform that I was using prior, it sold to Spotify, and so they now all of the streaming platforms have their own platforms that you have to join before you can actually stream on their services. And so I had a flub or a mix up with Apple, and so I couldn't get my show on Apple, and so I had to claim the rights to my show and like all these things. It's just the legal stuff. That's, all of that. But I'm back in action and really excited about that. I've been meeting so many people in the community and just everywhere I've been going and traveling. I'm really excited to for this relaunch. I have a few episodes that I've actually recorded that I'm like editing through. You know how it goes.
I know.
So, I'm doing a lot of things. I do have an event that's coming up as well here, in the local area, um, just to kind of help liberate leaders in a creative way. And so I'm really excited about that, taking place on September 27th. Um, and so I have a link to that on my website and whatnot. So it's a lot of things going on, a lot of things in motion.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Now, I see you were talking about your work with the young adults or the youth. Like, so what the age range do you work with on the youth side?
Honestly, it's between 12 to 17. Sometimes we
Okay.
have individuals that are 18 who may have had cases prior to turning 18, and so they're
Hmm.
still in, the juvenile detention center. And so yeah, anywhere from 12 to 18.
Okay. Okay. Wow. Because I was thinking about that because you're doing that work with the young adults and you're also working with the senior citizens as well.
Mhm.
Um,
It's the whole
how has
span of the
that? Yeah.
community.
How is that? I guess to get that wide of a view, seeing it all play out in front of you and whatnot. Has that work been? Um, I mean, what has that work done for you?
It's actually really insightful because for me, I try to catch the similarities between us, whether it be, individuals or populations of people. And so I see the similarities between the generations. And I try and be that bridge for those similarities, or connecting individuals based on those similarities. But there are a lot of stark differences as well. And what I recognize is that the youth need our seniors and, well, honestly, their elders, in a very different way than what the elders believe that they need them as. You know what I mean? It's very interesting to see that the older generations have so much to give, but a lot of the things that they really have to give that the younger generations need, they kind of gatekeep in a way. Um,
Mm.
and instead of just passing that on to them, so that they can hear something different or see something different, that they may not see in their local area, just because they don't believe that anybody has, or that they don't have access in those areas. But it's just that those seniors or those elders haven't opened up in that regard. They're still very, very private for some reason in certain areas. And so to me, that is something that I've noticed has been something that I would want us to change, you know what I mean? Or to really look into and work on, to discover, like, why is there such a discomfort in wanting to be vulnerable and wanting to open up and wanting to share your lived experiences and resources and things that you've learned, your wisdom, with the younger generations in the ways that they're needing it. Like, wanting to hear them and wanting to, really get a full understanding of what those needs are, which jump out as soon as you really give them the opportunity to speak without them feeling as though they have to perform for the attention or work for the attention.
And I know you say you're talking about like raising kids. So when are you talking about those kids, or you have your own kids? I know it's been
No,
some time.
I don't have my own kids yet.
Okay. Okay.
That's in the works, but no,
Okay.
this is just all community based. This is all within the community.
Okay. Cool. 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 And are you still married, right?
I am still married, yes.
Okay, nice, nice. That's what's up. I love to see this this portrayal of black gay love. We don't see it
Mhm,
often. We hear so much hate about, interracial dating and all this stuff, whatnot, and everything.
mhm.
But, we should take that energy and love on those who are loving on each other. And I love to see you and your husband both doing your thing. So congrats to you there for still holding that out, because I know it's not easy.
Of course.
It takes work. I know. Yes, I definitely know. And that may be a whole nother episode in itself, just to
It can be.
helping, but helping though, for real, because I think it would be nice to hear people who are doing it just get
Mhm.
real and
Yes.
tell us out here, like, look, if y'all want this, we'll tell y'all, like, this is what it's gonna take. This is what you got to get to. This is what y'all need to stop doing. Less of that, or
Yes.
that would be a
Well, it
help.
just honestly, just touching on it, like, it takes so there's I keep seeing videos where people are saying that, like, your partner mirrors you, and the
Hmm.
things that you need to improve on within
Yes,
yourself
yes.
are the things that irk you about your partner. And it's facts. Like, it's true. It's like, I know, just in when it comes to me and my situation with my husband, like, I will notice, like, oh, you said you were going to do this, but you haven't done it yet. Like, what's going on? Why are you procrastinating? But it's the same thing that I deal with. Like, it irks me that he's doing it, but then it's like, but you also are waiting to do this, or you're waiting to have this conversation, or you're waiting. Like, so what is it that you need to do? Because why is it triggering you? That
Oh,
they
wow.
are doing these things. You know what I mean? You have to be able to self-examine. And I feel and believe that a lot of us that want relationships are unwilling to reflect on that level. We're unwilling to hear what our partners are saying back, coming back to us. And so we start to defend that. And because we're
Hmm.
defending the ego, we're not allowing ourselves to be open and vulnerable to receive what our partner is trying to give. And that's the value, because I attracted you for a very specific reason. You know,
Hmm.
although I have, you in my attraction, or have you within my orbit, as I would say, there's so many. layers to those bonds, into those relationships that we may not have thought about once we got involved together. You know what I mean? And so we have to think about, how are we becoming, or who are we becoming? How are we changing? How are we choosing to stay the same? And why we are fighting for that reality to stay the same. You know what I mean?
Right. Right.
And so many of us do that, and that keeps us from the growth and evolution within a relationship. And it causes changes and separation and anxieties and all kinds of other things. And so it really just takes dying, a little bit, the death of the
Mhm.
ego, and the rebirth of your authentic self, and allowing yourself to continue that path of growth and progress in each area, and not just in the ones that you want to prioritize.
So, what I guess keeps holding you accountable to doing that work? Because I get, everything you said, and that's good. And I know that, but I know that when you're in the heat of it, sometimes that goes away. You don't recognize it in that moment. So I guess
Mhm,
what keeps you accountable to do the work? What are your tools and resources that you have to tap into just to continue to do that work?
mhm. So I tap into my community. I have a really close knit group of brothers and sisters that are my counsel.
Hmm. Hmm.
They're like my board of directors.
Oh,
And
okay. Love
so
it. Love it.
whenever I am experiencing something and I'm like, I'm getting friction and I don't understand why I'm getting friction in this moment. I'm not understanding. I'm trying to see it
Hmm.
from all the perspectives that I'm aware of, because you
Right.
start to learn the patterns and behaviors and, things like that. But also, you have to remember that your partner is evolving just as much as you're evolving. So there's new perspectives that come into play. There's new, opinions and ideas and things that are coming into play. And so it's it's important for us to keep that in mind and to have the conversations when the conversations need to be had. And so for me, it's more specifically about understanding that this is what's happening in the moment, and not to just you pull from the experiences of the past, but instead allow this to be what it is right now. Understand that you may know what happened in the past, but this is an opportunity for something totally different. So do different. You know what I mean? Think about what has been said by your partner. Think about, what's actually going on and what's triggering me and my feelings, these feelings or these emotions in the moment, and what's triggering him or them in that particular moment, so that we can connect and get a full understanding of what the breakdown is. And if we can't within that moment, take the time to reflect, talk to your counsel, talk to your board of directors to see, am I tripping? Is he tripping? What's
Right.
going on?
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And then once you hear that, especially, it has to be people who are going to tell you the truth.
True.
Not
Yes.
going to be like, oh
Yes.
no, 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 it's all him.
Yes.
He's tripping.
Hmm.
Like, and why would you
No.
do that? You don't need that. You need somebody who's going to be like, okay, and you said what now? And you think you was in the right, you know what I mean? You need someone that's gonna say, this is an opportunity for you both to grow. And so lean into that, have the conversation. Here's where you were wrong. Here's where he or she was wrong, move accordingly. You know what I mean? Make sure that they're not telling you what to do, but they're telling you what's going on, like what the breakdown is from perspectives that you may not be able to see. And that's been very helpful to me. I think this whole era that I'm in is teaching me more about community, about what community actually is and not what I think that it is, and why it's so valuable to have it, you know, and create it, in the way that is needed. You know what I mean? For me right now, because with the work that I'm doing, I'm sharing the wisdom that I'm learning with others. And so I have to be mindful of, what is this experience teaching me? What lessons am I pulling from it? and how can I, share that with the rest of the community so that they're aware that these are the resources and these are the people who are in the community that you also have access to for this particular type of situation that you may be in.
Yeah, this community building is something that I really do think is very important. And just hearing you talk about it, I it makes me question and think about my own community and what value there is there, and also realizing that community doesn't always have to be people that you just are crazy in love with or crazy like or whatnot,
Hmm.
but y'all can be tied together on one accord for like to at least bounce ideas off of, to stay in contact with, so that you can
Hmm.
hear other thoughts and other perspectives that can help you and your own relationships and help you progress and move forward and stay committed to those things that
Hmm.
you said you wanted to do. Community is very important for that. I have to write that down. Reminds me of that, I guess, a scripture of no man is an island to themselves. Like,
Yes.
I guess a scripture. Somebody said it. No man is an
It's
island.
in there. It's in there.
It's in a book somewhere. So it's good that you are stressing on the importance of that community building. Thank you for that. And I think that's what you do with Dream Incentive, right? So I guess when you're talking about Dream Incentive, to our audience who are just now getting to know you, what is the Dream Incentive? Why was it created? What's its mission? And what do you offer through the Dream Incentive?
So the Dream Incentive was born just based on my will to really create something for the community that did not exist. So I remember saying in the last episode, um, I knew I always wanted to be a business owner just because of my grandfather. Just watching him, he was the male role model in my life that I looked to, I gravitated towards. Just seeing how he was as an entrepreneur, and business owner, as a father, as a community member, and a community leader. Seeing him and how he moved inspired me, and it helped to keep me on a straight and narrow path. Interacting with him and seeing the kind of the level that he was playing at, it inspired me to want to build something for my community in that same way, but beyond just my local area. And so at first I wanted it to be like a health clinic, which I mean,
Hmm.
still may do that in the future.
Okay.
Um, but I knew that because I kept getting people who were coming to me to talk about, different situations that they were going through, different life transitions, that they were going through, that I didn't see it as life transitions at the time. But that's exactly what it is, and just kind of asking for support, asking for guidance. And I'm like, well, why is this always happening to me? Like, why are these people
Hmm.
always coming to me? Because I don't feel that I've been through enough to be able to speak to this situation. However, I can see the full picture, and these are the options that you have available to you if you view it from these various perspectives. Here are some things that you can try. Like, what do you want to do? You know what I mean? And then select that path, try it out, and develop it from there. And so that's always been a passion of mine since, um, I want to say, high school. I just needed to really flush it out and allow myself to be open to the idea of doing it, without getting irritated by, the fact that people are coming to me with the toughest or challenges that they have in life, you know. But really, honestly, it developed into the Dream Incentive because I recognized that a lot of folks that I was meeting and talking to had these huge ideas, these huge dreams that they wanted to bring into fruition. And yet they would talk to me about all the reasons why it wouldn't be possible or why it can't happen, as if they're like defending their inability to make it possible. I'm like, okay, well, what are the ways that you can work through this so that these are no longer barriers? Because there's a solution to every problem. You just have to allow yourself to see the solution to the problem and not be the barrier to your own problem, or to the own your own solution. And so being able to kind of navigate it from that perspective, um, it's really, how bad do you want this thing that you say that you want, and what are you willing to give up and sacrifice in order to make space for that. And
Okay.
so that again is why I say it's the dream incentive. You have to have that incentive to actually live your dreams, because we all have dreams,
Yeah.
but very few
Mm.
of us will do what is necessary consistently to achieve those dreams and to birth those dreams into our reality. And so that's the whole that's where
That's
it comes
beautiful.
from. That's the
Yes.
passion that fuels it.
Yes.
It's all about ensuring that our community maintains the ability to thrive and see themselves and their dreams as valuable, because they are.
Mm. So talk to us about the services. So, so I get who you're calling, the people that um definitely need to come to the dream incentive. I'm actually listening to myself thinking like, you know what, I might need to check out the dream incentive, because I am on this new journey of stand-up comedy and
Hmm.
hosting and emceeing and all of that. And I do have a vision for it. I really
Hmm.
do. And so yeah, so I might be reaching out for real, like for real. So
Hmm.
just let us know, like, what does your services look like? How does working with the Dream Incentive look like for those people who are stepping into a new path, a new career, a new whatever.
Hmm. So I do one-on-one services, I do group services, I do online, I do in person. It's the choice is yours. I have courses that you can do, like pathways. So the last time I was here, I talked about my 12-week Jumpstart program. I do have that, for individuals who have a specific project or vision in mind. Um, and throughout that 12 weeks, we're going completely from the discovery phase of like, what is it that I'm doing? What do I want to do? How do I really want it to look, to developing your vision, writing it out, making it plain, um, really tapping into your barriers. What are those obstacles that you um, are in front of you that are you believe will be a hindrance to your growth and progress to making this thing possible, and then addressing those obstacles, and then creating a plan of action to actually execute. And that is schedule, timeline, that is specific dates, that's everything that you need in order to be successful. And then you're going to try it out, and then you're going to execute from there on out. And it's funny because like I was watching some old episodes of Yana Fix My Life, and she would always say at the beginning when she was talking to someone, she would be like, now there are going to be times that you're not going to like me, and that's okay. And I think about that and I'm like, well, at first, when I started this thing, I was like, I want everybody to like me. I want everybody to be able to hear what I'm saying. And
Hmm.
I have that personality to where I can make that
Hmm.
possible. But when people are in their stuff and
Yeah.
they have taken ownership of the stuff that's not really theirs, it's just that they've taken ownership over it, they get defensive
Mm.
of it. And
They do.
then
They
they
do. We
project
do.
those
Yeah.
feelings and things onto you. And so you become the
Yeah.
bad guy. And
Yeah.
I have accepted my role as the bad guy. If I have to be the bad guy to inspire you to work
Hmm.
through your shortcomings or your obstacles, then I will be that.
Yes.
Because the goal is to get to the other side so that you can then, evolve and grow and continue to do what the Lord has called you to do, you
Right.
know.
Right. Right, right. And so the course that you're talking about, is it instructor led? Is it self paced? Is like how what are the courses?
So the if you do the 12-week program, then it's just continuous 12 weeks. You're working directly with me one on one.
Hmm.
I do anticipate, having other coaches that you can work with. I am just in the discovery process of finding those coaches.
Okay, I understand.
But as of now, it's me. You're working one on one with me. I do like to do cohorts. So I will do a group of, 5 to 10 folks, and we can do the entire process, together. That way you have some
Hmm.
additional support outside of me. If you hit a wall or if something feels kind of wrong and you need to shift it a little bit during, your plan of action or things of that nature. And then you also have that community of folks to bounce ideas off of and whatnot. And so it's it's all me. I do have
Okay.
some facilitators that will come in for different aspects. If you're talking about finance, I'm not a financial planner or advisor, so we're going to bring somebody in to help talk the finance piece. If there's something that's a little deeper in the cognitive area, we're going to bring in a psychologist because
Okay.
that's not me.
Okay.
So we're gonna have the support that you need in order to be successful at the end of that 12 weeks.
Okay.
Hmm.
That's amazing. That is amazing. I think thank you for even offering that to all of us out here. Yeah, I'm checking it out for real. I am.
Of
I'm checking it
course.
out. So I'm actually thinking now, like, okay, yeah, I could benefit. Sometimes we all need that. I don't care.
Mhm.
Like coaches need coaches need coaches.
And do
Like therapists need
and do.
therapists need therapists.
Yeah.
So you do have to do that, and you do need someone outside of you to hold you accountable to the vision that you are creating. And that's
Hmm.
why I really do align with your ministry and what you do, because I say calling, and I do believe that we all have a calling. There is a thing that is inside of all of us. We know it, and that's why I call mine beyond your horizon, because that place is like beyond the place your eyes can see.
Yes.
You can't see it, you feel it, you know that you have the dream there, it's there, but you cannot see how it's going to manifest, and sometimes it's outside of your comfort zone and your familiarity.
Yes.
And so it takes working with people like yourself in order to help that person go there, because they know it's there. They just need
Hmm.
somebody to hold their hand to let them know that it is possible.
Hmm.
So grateful for the work you do. There is actually a quote that I like from your site that says, "Dreams are seeds planted within us by God. Ignoring them diminishes our purpose of being. Give yourself an incentive to live your deepest dreams." And that's
Hmm.
Joshua Warren. That's your quote.
Indeed.
Your quote on
That's my
that. So
quote.
yeah, love that. Love that. All right. And then talking about the new podcast. Well, not the new podcast, the restarting of the podcast. It's been
Hmm.
out there a minute.
Hmm.
Inversations. Okay. So
Yeah.
you finally got everything back. It's back
Thank
online
God.
and everything and stuff like that. So let's talk about that and what listeners can expect to learn, or just what we can expect from the podcast itself.
Hmm. So, Inversation has always been a living diary, just about the ups and downs and transitions of life. And so I started it primarily for, my transitions, my life transitions, just sharing the wisdom that I've learned through the experiences that I've not only lived, but I've also experienced firsthand. So whether that be through, things that have happened within my family or to family members or things that have happened to close friends, people who I know, love, and trust, and sharing that wisdom and the lessons with the community in case someone is going through something similar. And the goal for that is to be able to have the conversations that we typically keep to ourselves, have it amongst the community so that we can kind of tap in, check in. Is what we're feeling, is it in alignment with, what's really going on? Or are these feelings that, things that are they a result of things that I'm creating? Or am I getting in my own way? Or am I allowing others or outside things to, get in my way or influence me in a negative way or positive way? And then utilizing that wealth of information and those resources to continue to reflect and then build, reflect and then grow, reflect and then develop, because it's all about moving forward. So a lot of times we think that, oh, we have these dreams, we have these goals, we have these ideas, we have to make huge strides, we have to make huge leaps. And it's the baby steps. The baby
Mm,
steps are what's going to help you get to from point A to point B. And so what are those baby steps? We see a lot of folks successes, and we want the success. We want the end goal that they've been able to achieve, but we need to hear the baby steps that they were able to take, and how challenging were the baby steps, because you may put a lot of experience a lot of energy or a lot of resistance, within a particular life transition. It may be really heavy, it may be really, daunting. And you think that, oh, once I get through this, I'm going to be way over here. And then God will put you, in a totally different space that you weren't even expecting to be. You know what I
right,
mean?
right.
And so it's like, even though it feels super big, and you go back and you look at it and you're like, okay, it wasn't that big. It really was just a baby step. It was an important baby step to help prepare you for this stride that you are now getting ready to take. And so it's all a matter of having that wealth of information that you're able to share with the community, so that we can talk through some of the things that we only hold within ourselves. And that's why it's called conversation.
Conversations. Okay, okay, all right. So yeah, make sure you all go out and listen, subscribe, and do all that, so
Mhm,
that we can get some help through these transitions. That
mhm,
word, like there's so many transitions of life. Like we all are
mhm.
going through some kind of transition, and in transition in itself will include stress.
Yes.
It's just given. Every
Mhm,
transition you go through, every change is going to have its own element of stress.
mhm.
And it's good to know that we are not alone when we are going through transitions. We all are going through them, and we all are familiar with the stress that change can cause. And it's so
Mhm,
great that through the Dream Incentive, through communities that we build, that we have support to help
mhm.
us go through each phase of that. Wow, wow.
Yes.
Yeah,
Because,
wonderful
like,
work.
and not only that you have those resources and you have that support, but it's reliable and it's trusted support. It's not someone
Mm,
who's just gonna hear what you're saying and then just play you off and be like, okay, well, you're gonna be okay. You know what I mean? But
mm,
also, but actually provide you with the wisdom and the knowledge and the resources to say, and continue to check in with you to be like, okay, how are you feeling today? I know that you had a rough day yesterday. Are you feeling better today? What needs to happen, based on what happened yesterday, what needs to happen today to make things a little different for you, to make things feel a little better. You know, you need to have that trusted, reliable source that's going to be a resource that's going to be able to help you through to the end. So you're not further back, or in a whole different direction than where you were intending to go.
okay. All right. Now I want to take the last part of this episode, and I want to talk about you yourself, um because you this is your calling, right?
Mhm,
Dream Incentive is your calling. This is what
mhm.
you feel that God gave you, or how do you know that this is your calling?
Because it doesn't stop. Like, anytime I put it down or put it on pause, it, just because I think I'm ready to for a rest, or I'm ready for a break, or I need to focus my attention on something else, doesn't mean that it, God is ready for me to do that. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So I might be like, okay, work is getting really stressful. Let me just put this all on pause real quick. and focus my attention to here. You know, how I know that it is my calling and it's meant for me is because even if I'm at work, the work finds me. Even if I'm, walking down the street and I meet somebody new, the first conversation that we have after introductions is some deep level root work that we need. You know what I mean? It continues to find me, and
Mm,
you don't run from what is what is finding you. You know what I mean? You confront it. And you
mm-hmm.
can either confront it with fear or resistance, or you can go with the flow and allow the source that is being given to you to flow through you because you're the vessel and
Right.
reach the people that it's meant to reach. And so no matter what I have planned or on the calendar for the Dream Incentive or Inversation or any group that I'm working with, the work is still finding me, and it's my duty and privilege to be able to do that work. And because I I recognize that, it makes it fun. It makes it not feel like work. It makes it feel like purpose. I mean, it's purpose,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's something that's
Mm-hmm.
fulfilling. It's something that, lights my fire. And even though I may have had like a 10, 12-hour day, or work day, and I'm tired and I'm ready to go move on and do things that I just genuinely want to do, relax, sleep,
Right.
restore. Um, if somebody calls me, and I I see the need, I even if I don't have it right in that moment, let me get you on the calendar. Let me get you on the schedule so that we can work through this together because God's put me here for a purpose. And if this continues to find me, this is what I'm meant to do. Even if I'm like in a different space, I'm totally in a different zone, way of thinking, being at that particular moment. If the work continues to show up and find me, I'm not going to refuse it because I know the gifts and I know the skills and I know the seeds that God planted in me. And it is my privilege, like I said, to be able to share that gift with the rest of the world. It's like this little light of mine,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
the world didn't give it to me, so the world can't take it away. But like I got this from God. Like this is my light, and I'm meant to share that light. I'm not meant to hold it and keep it captive to
Right.
myself. You know what I mean?
How
I'm
do you
meant to
nurture
share it with
that?
the rest of the world.
How do you nurture that light and that connection?
Mm, meditation. I still meditate.
You still meditate, do your
I
yoga.
still meditate. Now, I do my yoga in a different way because I'm actually like viably working out now. So
Okay, okay.
so like my trainer has added some stretching and things into my routine, which is great. But the freestyle, I haven't been doing that as much as I want to. Um, but I am going to get back into it as well. I'm learning how to master my time in this season. And because you have all the plans and the schedules and whatnot, and then things shift and move around, because you never know what the day is really going to bring. But it's like learning how to master a specific period of time and say, no, I carved this out for me, it's mine, and I'm going to do this thing that I said that I'm going to do within this moment. You know, um, that's something that I'm working on. So with the yoga, yes, but no, that connection is very much meditation, music. I think I mentioned that I sing, and
Yes,
so
yes.
it's very much giving myself space to just cut everything off and put on some jazz and just freestyle some words. You know what I mean? Or just make a joyful noise. You know what I'm saying to the music. Um, that helps me stay connected. It helps me to remove any energetic residue from my being so that I know when source is tapping my shoulder and
Mm-hmm.
it's me. You know what I mean? I have to be able to stay connected in that way. Otherwise, I'm not going to be able to share this gift. I'm not going to want to.
Yeah. Yeah. I like how when you say you tap into those freestyle moments, even with the
Hmm.
freestyle jazz, we talked about your
Hmm.
freestyle yoga,
Hmm.
because you do have, I think
You have to
sometimes
make it your own.
you do have to make it your own. Like, there are things that I try to be conscious of too with that. Like when I stretch, right, I'll
Hmm.
just go out and stretch because I do use an app for my workout routine, and so all of this stuff is like program, program, program. So I have to
Hmm.
find ways to let me just do what I want to do. Let me just
Yes.
stretch the body because I know where my body needs to feel the release tension. I know what my body needs, and so
Yes.
I do get into those freestyle moments there. And then like sometimes I'll just move through the house with nothing on,
Hmm.
just so I don't want to be swayed by a certain beat. I don't want to be
Yes.
swayed by nothing. I just want to just be in my natural state, feeling the stresses, feeling the blessings, feeling the gratitude, and the things
Mm.
I might need to work on, or the thoughts that come to my head, and just be free in that moment for a while too. So I like
Absolutely.
that. That's just a freestyle.
Absolutely.
All right. So where can our people find you, learn more about you? Uh, take it away.
So you can find me at thedreamincentive.com. That is my main hub for all things that I do. It's really like a little social media platform. We have different rooms and blogs, and you can create your own profile and make it everything that you want and need it to be. You can customize your experience, and so you can visit me on thedreamincentive.com. You can catch me on Inversation. I publish every other Sunday. And so it wasn't this past Sunday, so you can expect another episode next Sunday. But yes, and then you can also find me on um, all the socials at Coach_Warren, WARREN 06, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, I think pretty much everything. You can find me there. Twitter too. X, I guess. It's called X now.
X, yeah. X, okay, okay, right, right, right. You still on there showing off that body?
I do.
You do,
That's never
okay.
gonna
Nothing wrong
change.
with it. That's
That's
never gonna
never
change.
gonna change. As long as I have a body and I love my body, I'm gonna show my body
Your
and move
body is
my
well
body.
loved. Your body is well loved. So okay, keep it, keep it. All right, all right. Well, you all, is there anything else you want to say before I end this? Is there anything else you want the people to know?
Um, Now is the time for us to pay attention to what's going on around us, not just
Mm,
what's on the news, but what's happening around us, what is happening in your local area. Be involved and connected and in the know. There's a lot of changes that are taking place as of now, and we don't want to allow ourselves to be so heavily distracted by entertainment and things that we forget or neglect the seriousness of things that are going on within our government. And so I want to make sure that we all, one, stay connected, not only to source and God, but in ourselves to make sure that we are stable and we're cool and we're good in this space, but also to your community, so that you stay in the know of what's going on, and you can lend your skills, your gifts, your opinions, your voice to the shifts that are happening around us. Don't allow yourself to sleep. Okay.
mm.
Wow. But yeah, that's what I would say.
That's good. That's good stuff. That's good stuff, Josh. All right, all right. Well, thank you again for coming on Beyond Your Horizon. This has been a great episode, and
Absolutely.
thanks. We'll be in touch.
Indeed.
All
Indeed.
right. Wow, what an incredible conversation with Joshua Warren. From his work with youth and elders to the relaunch of his podcast and the growth of the Dream Incentive, Joshua continues to remind us that our dreams aren't just imagined, they're meant to be lived. Now, if this episode has blessed you, inspired you, or even challenged you, please do me a favor. I'm reminding you again to hit that subscribe button, rate this podcast, and share this episode with a friend. Every listen, every share, every comment helps us to reach more people who need to hear these conversations. And remember, you can connect with Joshua at thedreamincentive.com or on Instagram. His handle is coach_Warren06. That's Warren spelled WARREN 06, coach_Warren 06. And of course, you can find me, Jon John. I am on Instagram at Just Jon John. That's JUSTJONJOHN. And you can find all things Beyond Your Horizon at gobeyondyourhorizon.com. On Instagram, Beyond Your Horizon also has a page, which I need to update. But we do have an IG page, and it's go_beyond your horizon. If you would like to provide feedback to me directly, or maybe you're interested in being on the show yourself, feel free to shoot me an email. My email address is jonjohn, JONJOHN at gobyh.com, as in B beyond Y your H horizon. Until next time, people, let's keep dreaming, let's keep pushing beyond our perceived limitations. And as always, thank you for listening and or watching Beyond Your Horizon. Thank you.